Stage 2 of the Vuelta a España was a somewhat subdued stage after what could have been the longest neutralised section in history, 21 kilometres. The breakaway went relatively easy. However, it included none other than Hayter, who crucially picked up the bonus seconds which placed him in the red jersey on the road. However, unfortunately, he came across the line over 30 seconds behind the eventual stage winner, Matthew Brennan.
And Lizzie Deignan and I are in Leamington Spa, where we've just seen
the finish
of
the women's.
Yeah, we're going to break this down sentence by sentence.
The Women's Tour of Britain, Lloyd's Women's Tour of Britain.
Yeah.
It was won by Kim Lecoq.
Pina. And the stage was won by Lorena Wiebes. For the Love of Cycling is sponsored by Science in Sport, the fuel of choice for some of the leading riders at the Vuelta over the past 40 years.
Science in Sport developed the first specially formulated recovery drink, the first isotonic gel, and the first dual source carb fuel, innovations that have transformed cycling nutrition. It's the official sports nutrition partner of British cycling, supporting community cycling clubs right through to Olympic champions, as well as over 400 elite athletes and teams worldwide. Science in Sport, fuel trusted by champions since 1992. Joining me on the podcast today again is Mr. David Miller. Welcome, David.
Hello, Pete. How are you?
I'm good. How's your day going?
Yeah, it was good. I kind of had the stage on when it was. I was hoping for a full live coverage, but it didn't happen. So yeah, no, it's been a good day. It was not quite as interesting a race as I thought it would be, but all the same. Yeah, I mean, I think I was like you as well. I kind of turned on, knew when it would start, and then looked on all the live reports, and they'd been going for 45 minutes or nearly an hour and still hadn't started. And that's when I realized there was that 21k neutral, and I was like, oh, yeah. Holy cow. So the rest is history, but it was interesting.
21k in a race goes quite fast, but 21k in a neutral is like a lifetime, isn't it?
And I don't think it was an easy neutral either. I mean, well, we spoke about this yesterday. I thought it might go like a third week race, but it didn't. And then I was watching the race, and there were some pre-race interviews, and one in particular with Mads Pedersen, and he brought to light the fact that there were so many people. There were two big teams that were interested in the leader's jersey, Lidl Trek and Visma Lease Bike, and everyone knew that. And I think that in itself, they kind of just almost announced it at the start of the race, and then that neutralised it. But hats off to Hayter.
We talked briefly yesterday on sort of it's the worst thing you can do is trying to predict what happens on the first road stage of any Grand Tour. But I think you almost fall into a false sense of security after the previous Grand Tour. So after the Tour de France, every stage was raced so hard, and you look at a day like today in the Vuelta, and your last sort of memory of those type of stages was in the Tour.
Yeah.
And then you fall into that. So you fall into trying to predict that in terms of, your last experience of what you've seen, basically. But you are right. It does happen when before the stage, whispers get around the peloton, don't they? Where, okay, it might be a soigneur, it might be someone on the bus, it might be anyone. But before you know it, everyone knows that Visma and Trek want to control the stage. So then no one even bothers going in the breakaway.
Yeah, that's such a good point, Pete. In the sense that I was kind of still had that Tour de France hat on, and perhaps even kind of a lot of the races in the early season. And we've grown so accustomed to that style of racing at Tour de France, where it's just flat out every day. And actually that's abnormal. That's a kind of new phenomenon. And I think, I totally forgot that this is actually a normal bike race. And on top of that, it's the Vuelta a España, where the strength in depth is so shallow compared to the Tour de France. There's actually not enough riders to actually rip it up, especially if you've got two alpha teams who are saying they're going to control it. So yeah, that's a really valid point that I'd kind of forgotten. I need to recalibrate that I'm watching the Vuelta a España.
You have to recalibrate your brain, yeah. And then also on that point, the pure sprinters here are the guys who were having to rip it up in the Tour de France because they didn't want the likes of Jasper Phillips and Malia to arrive at the line. True. So yeah, it's a completely different bike race with a completely different dynamic, I guess, because you'd never look at a stage like today with, what was it, almost maybe over 3,000 meters elevation and call it a sprint day, but it was essentially.
Yeah, I know that's so true. Because I mean, I think I just looked at the statistics yesterday and not actually thought much deeper about the fact exactly that the kind of the key sprinters here are kind of Mads Pedersen, Wout van Aert, Caden Groves, who you're exactly right. They're the sort of sprinters that normally wouldn't want to be in a fight against a Philipsen and Merlier, etc. So it's just a completely different peloton. And but it was interesting in the fact that Hayter kind of decided to play that card. I guess he had no other card to play. And to be honest with you, it kind of, I mean, he went with three other riders. There was Hayter, Koen Bouwman from Jayco Lula, Fernandez and Uriarte from two of the wildcard Spanish teams. So that's the kind of classic you'd expect to be up the road every day. But eventually, they just kept him. I think the biggest was like a minute and a half, maximum maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was just Visma Lisa bike and Needle Trek. And we were saying yesterday, does Tadej Pogačar and UAE want to burn matches, kind of trying to keep the jersey, trying to basically do the start to finish leaders jersey scenario. But actually, the race, they didn't have to do one meter on the front today. I think they did maybe a handful of kilometers in those final 10Ks, but they just they had a total bonus day.
And they are the masters. They are the masters of doing that as well. I think two main points for me today, aside from the results and who was in the breakaway, are, again, is it another advocate for scrapping the long stages, which I think
that's
is probably true.
Yeah.
And then two, Ethan Hayter's skin suit and what he did to it.
Yeah. I mean, because he messaged me saying he crashed. And then I looked and I saw that picture on social media of, looks like he cut the back of both of his shorts. So I don't know, because obviously he's wearing the sponsor's speed suit, skin suit, and I guess it was just too tight on his legs. And he's just asked some scissors and just cut the hems at the back, and they were just split up. And we were joking it was such a Hayter move. Just doesn't care.
It was so he doesn't care. But then also when maybe he just wanted to cut it a little bit, but once you cut something like that, it's only going one way. But I mean, in my eyes, I was thinking when I was watching him, I was like, this. If I was starting the stage, I'd be thinking maybe this was half my problem. This could be the only time I'm in the green jersey in the Vuelta of my life. Like I'm going to go through any pain necessary to look bloody cool in it. Whatever.
It's so true.
Whatever the problem, I couldn't even care less about the bonus seconds, or being in the break. But there was no way I was risking, because it did look terrible, didn't it?
It looked terrible, like you said.
That's awful.
There's no cool pictures of Ethan Hayter now, kind of like flying around the internet. There's just photos from behind of him, like with these ripped shorts, just kind of splitting up the back.
But there lies the problem.
Yeah.
Modern cycling. No one cares about that anymore.
About aesthetics or elegance or panache. I mean, his ride was panache, but
no, it was very panache.
It was panache because the other three riders in the peloton went full gas trying to catch him in those kind of full gas. You had Visma Lisa just peel off. Bruno Amarai was just going deep.
When they fully started, they were not holding back one bit. Were they?
No, they did like a full pursuit, kind of from they had it a minute and a half, and they brought it down to 12 seconds. And that was when the other two riders one of the Jayco rider already dropped off, I think, I can't remember. But anyway, it was down to three of them. And then when it got to 12 seconds, it was just Hayter decided to go on his own, then took it back out to 30 seconds, even with them kind of going deep, trying to bring him back. And he got the sprint easy. That was 36 Ks to go. And then he had 30 seconds on the peloton and they caught him. And that's when I decided to have a nap.
Because it was a headwind. It was a headwind as well. So it wasn't a normal 30k. It was a good maybe 40 minutes. I don't know, 50 minutes maybe max.
I was like Ethan Hayter. I had to hang on for the sprint, and as soon as we were through the sprint, I was like, I'm done, and just kind of did the classic Vuelta sofa nap. Checked out, and I did give you a heads up. So
you did.
I
did also, I have to admit, have the City game on as well. First, it's a full on Super Sunday today. We've got the Vuelta España. We've got the last stage of the Women's Tour of Britain. And
the Mountain Bike World Cup in Leger.
So I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was epic. I'm going to drop that one in here
Also, the F1.
Oh, F1. Yeah, Verstappen crashed
doesn't
out.
Get any better.
So,
all you need is a
right.
roast dinner and decent weather on a Sunday on the Isle of Man, and job's done.
But I'm going to touch on this because I've sort of saw it pop on at one's cross to watch it. So there was a mountain bike World Cup in Léger, and Mathieu van der Poel was there because I think he just wants to move up the ranking to do the world. He's got the World Championships. I think it's next week where Pidcock's going to be as well. So Mathieu van der Poel's been dabbling to get a better start on the grid. And so he's been dabbling in mountain bike in the last few years, and it's just gone badly each time. In the Tokyo Olympics, he was there as a kind of favourite with Pidcock, and then he crashed on the first lap in the race. Then actually at the Glasgow Super Worlds, he did the mountain bike the World Championships going cross country. After winning the road race, he went to go and do the cross country. Crashed on the first lap, a silly crash.
It was on one of the first corners.
It was the first corner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then he kind of said, I'm not going to do it. And then this year he's decided to come back. I mean, it's not by coincidence that I think it's kind of moving into Olympic cycle, because obviously 2028 Olympics, he might kind of go for it again. But he went to the race, and I think everyone sort of thought, maybe he's lost it. And my God, he was so good. I mean, the Léger course is pretty technical, and it's an incredibly physical course. And he got pipped by this young French guy, but he rode fantastically. So I think we can safely say that Mathieu van der Poel is taking mountain biking seriously again, which is cool.
And whilst we're on the subject, I think it happens, or it's happened in the last couple of years, but it seems to be becoming more and more popular as it's becoming more and more viral. The downhill at Léger. When the last rider's finished, and everyone just runs down the hill after them, basically, is the best way I can describe it. If you're behind a fence or wherever you're on the course, everyone just starts, and it's like a stampede. It's incredible. If you haven't seen it, check out the Léger downhill. It's pretty wild.
It is very wild. That was so it was a Super Sunday. But yeah, then moving into the final, let's go back to the Vuelta.
Straight too far.
So it did. I said headwind, and it was just kind of after that flurry and the controlling all day of the breakaway and then getting back Hayter, it kind of all just shut down. And then moving into the last 10Ks, it was a pretty technical last 5Ks, wasn't it? I mean, it was sort of left and right, but not crazy.
If you're at Renew Tour the last week, then you'd call it like a very straightforward final. It wasn't crazy, I don't think.
No, it wasn't crazy. It was interesting.
It was interesting. You had to get your timing right.
Yeah.
My biggest surprise, now we're talking about the final, is Wout van Aert to tackle with 1.8 to go. Yeah.
Well, I know. You know what? It was interesting because I was watching this and I was thinking, what are they going to do? Because Brennan's got to be their dude for today. Wout van Aert took the intermediate sprints. And I'd been thinking in my head, what's more important? Kind of going for the stage win or going for the red jersey? Because they couldn't get both. I didn't think, because Brennan is better than Wout van Aert. So if they sacrificed Brennan to lead out Wout van Aert in the hope of Wout van Aert kind of getting this, because he had to get the stage win and the red jersey, that wasn't a done deal. But you'd almost think, well, Brennan is a done deal because he's just on a finish like that where it's slightly uphill. Mm-hmm. And they decided to play a really interesting tactic. It's like, 1.8 Ks to go. Wout van Aert just came exploding out of the front of the group. And it was on a slight uphill. So it was big. And it was so big that it did a big gap and it actually brought Tadej Pogačar out. And Tadej Pogačar just exploded out after and took a while to get back up to him. But the moment that happened, you were like, oh, they are going for Brennan. And instead of doing the lead out, they played a kind of a really smart, which they can only do when they're that strong. But
also for me, I know it's Wout van Aert doing the attack and it's not a neo-pro riding his first Vuelta for Visma, but also, I guess he probably didn't have much choice, but it says a lot about Brennan that he's that confident to say, you will do that thing, I'll look after myself.
Yeah.
Or with Laporte, and that also,
of course, Laporte
also says a lot. And we have Laporte. They've got a strong team, haven't they?
They got such a strong team. I'm just looking at results. Yeah, Laporte finished 12th. So he was up there. So he was, I think it was even higher. Let me just look at that. No, sorry, that was on GC. I have to see. I don't know if Laporte was actually up there. So yeah, so he really was looking at. So he really was looking after himself. But Tadej Pogačar was. I mean, he wants to keep the jersey. Yeah.
After
following. Yeah. after doing the Wout van Aert kind of follow, which for most people, if you've done that, you're not going to be anywhere in the sprint. But he was able to actually come past Mads Pedersen.
And then the other interesting thing about Pogačar in that position, to not go over the top of Wout van Aert so close to the finish. At this point, probably by the time, if he went at 1.8, I would say it was just over a K to go. Not to work with him, not to go over the top. But then it's not like he was on the limit because he still finished third in the sprint. And it's very unlike Pogačar when he's at the front, out of the peloton, in a race-winning move to then take it on. So,
well, going back to what you were saying about the difference between La Vuelta and the Tour is, in a way, they kind of called Pogačar's bluff. Because when Wout van Aert went in the Tour de France, that's not going to make it to the finish because there's so many strong riders, strong teams behind who will close it down.
Yeah,
Pogačar was aware he couldn't let him go with 1.8 Ks to go on an uphill like that, so he had to chase him down. And the moment he'd have done it and realised they weren't, he would have recognised that Visma had called his bluff because he would have known Brennan was behind, and there wasn't anything that he could do at that point.
The point you made just before, what I guess the telling point of Pogačar's move and following Wout van Aert is that he actually doesn't want to lose the red jersey.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he's racing. I mean, I think he's going to have fun here.
Yeah. Because if you were going for the stage, then he would have just gone over the top. So it wasn't about the stage at that point. It was about not losing the leader's jersey. Yeah.
So I mean, scary. If we look at it is scary, but I think we kind of know that now. But going back to Brennan and his sprint, I mean, we've seen him do it over and over again.
Yeah.
He's just and talking about, we had the British riders yesterday in second, third and fourth. I mean, Matt Brennan's only 21 years old and he's got, I mean, how many wins did he have? Like 20, 30 wins overall, 25 wins maybe as a career. And he's only been a pro for 24, he turned 25, he went world tour with Visma. So it's in 2 seasons, he's just been like unstoppable. And the way he won today is what he's been doing across so many different world tour races. And yeah, I mean, he's an absolute phenom that kind of, the style of rider he is means perhaps he's not as well known outside the kind of, he's not with those big five, but he's almost creating this own style of riding for himself. I don't know another rider.
He's so versatile, isn't he?
Yeah.
I guess the problem is for a rider like Matthew Brennan in the cycling world that we live in now, if you come to the Tour de France, how do you win a stage? I think for him, it's not, unless you get a real punchy stage with a reduced group then. And if you talk about being known and being one of the big riders, that's sort of the cherry on the cake, isn't it?
This is what's interesting with him, Pete, because he wins all his sprints at the end of the race in the final. He doesn't go in breakaways. I mean, I can't even think about it. But you're right. You'd think for the Tour de France, the only way he could win stages is being in the breakaway.
Like Mads Pedersen, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
In that sort of style.
Yeah. So yeah, he's an interesting one.
I guess that's the next step for him. And you have to remember he is 21. So
he's 21.
He's doing all right.
He's all right. He'll find his way.
He's doing okay. He's doing okay. Any other takings from today's stage apart from the awful aesthetics from our friend Ethan Hayter and the fact that not much happened?
No, I think it was just a good reminder of what the Vuelta is, and I think it is a different style of racing, and yeah, it's not worse. It's not good, better or best or worse. It's just the Vuelta. Yeah. It's just the
Vuelta.
Yeah.
So before we move on to tomorrow, just to remind you of the GC, not much has actually changed other than Ethan Hayter slipping down the rankings after his big outing today, but still in the red jerseys today. Pogačar second, Wout van Aert. Matthew Brennan is up to third. We have Leo Bizot, I think that's how you pronounce it, David, in fourth. Finn Fisher-Black in fifth. Stefan Kung in sixth. Jay Vine, seventh. Mads Pedersen, eighth. Primož Roglič, still in the top 10. Watch out, boys, watch out. In ninth. And the rider who impressed David yesterday in the time trial, Jordan Labros, who we know nothing about.
No, nothing about.
But still did good fun. But then again, that's what the Vuelta is about, isn't it? The riders coming through. On to tomorrow, David. We have, it's not classified as a mountain stage, which, I don't know. I guess it's not gonna define the GC.
No, but it's stage 3.
It's going to give us an indicator of who's here and who's on form.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a 167k stage from Gruissan to Fon Romeu, which is a very famous kind of, that's in the old days before people didn't go to Tiered and different places. That was the kind of altitude training camp for everyone, especially in France. They got their Olympic training centre up there. So it finishes up high, but the climb itself is because they're coming from Perpignan and they're basically just, it is quite gradual. It's not it's on a big road as well. It's like a big kind of, it's the main road, national road getting up there. But it's going to be an interesting one because it's basically pan flat the whole way to the bottom of the climb, which they start effectively, I mean, it starts going up about 50 Ks from the finish. And it's a Cat 1. Then they got a little summit, and at about 15 Ks from the finish, drops down, and then they got the final Cat 2 up to the finish. So I mean, I think it's really hard to figure out. We say we don't like predicting, but everyone knows Tadej Pogačar can win this if he wants, and it's whether UAE wants to control it, whether he wants to go for it, because it's a pretty, as mountain stages go, it's pretty simple, let's say.
Very, very straightforward. I think in total you have 140 kilometres hugging the coastline, which are basically all flat. And if you're after fireworks, I'd maybe just tune in for the last 10 kilometres.
Yeah.
Because we have a strong head crosswind as well for most of the stage until they turn, like you say, right at Perpignan, head towards the final climb. But the last climb is tailwind, which should help the racing a little bit. Is the final stage in France before we head to Andorra for stage 4. So my taking for tomorrow's stage is be patient, tune in late, and we should have some fireworks in the final 10 kilometers. So tomorrow is only stage 3 of the Vuelta, but today is the final stage of the Women's Tour of Britain. And Ned and Lizzie have sent us a report. Let's hear from them.
Hello, Pete. Hello, David. Are you going to say hello to them as well?
All right, lads.
It's a warm little greeting there from Lizzie. Lizzie, welcome back to this race. You popped in on Blackpool on one of the most apocalyptic days in the history of this race. But the sun's out here. It's been glorious, hasn't it?
Well, we're down south now, aren't we? Yeah. It was...
Don't draw me on the north-south divide. We've already had that discussion between us.
Do you know what? It had everything, this bike race. It had every kind of weather, every season, which we come to expect in races in the UK.
Yeah.
It delivered on that.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to bring a colossally long heat wave to an end, just organise a bike race, a stage race in Britain. It's going to happen, isn't it?
In Blackpool. I felt for them in Blackpool. It was a real shame on the promenade there, but...
Let's not jump the gun. It started, just to review, it started in Cockermouth. There was a circuit from Cockermouth to Cockermouth with 2,000 metres of climbing in it. And I remember you saying when we previewed it, I think, I'm not misquoting you, Lizzie, you said something like, I hope they attack it. I hope they race it. Yeah. And they certainly did, didn't they? Straight from the gun, because it's been the story of the week is like, how do you get rid of Lorena Wiebes?
Yeah, how do you get rid of the best sprinter in the world? Beyond being a brilliant sprinter, is somebody who can survive climbs when the peloton isn't the strongest peloton here. It's a really diverse peloton. We've got British continental teams as well as World Tour teams, so there's quite a diverse peloton in terms of strength and depth. They really had to chuck everything at her.
Yeah, and they set the tone on stage 1, didn't they? And they did put her under a little bit of pressure, and it was quite a select, it was a reduced bunch sprint in the end, wasn't it, that made it to the line. But the problem is, when you bring her to the line in the last kilometre, there is only one answer, and it's just metronomic, her success. And probably of all the victories, I'm guessing here, but the one on stage 1 was probably the narrowest margin, because the longer the week went on, the more the margin grew between Lorena Wiebes and the best. Yeah. The next day was I think I want to focus on the role that Alice Wood played, actually, the newly minted race director. She's only just left the professional ranks, hasn't she? And here she is organising this race. My God, she had the kitchen sink of problems thrown at her that day.
A really challenging day, but handled it really well.
Yeah.
You know, there's no winners on a day like that, is there, apart from just the overall safety of the peloton and
Lorena Wiebes.
Well, Lorena,
yeah.
One obviously, but
no, you're
they
right.
mitigated all the risks really well. They communicated as best they could on lastminute.com. Everything was just thrown at them, and
I mean, just in case, you know, some of our listeners, viewers actually missed what happened, the start was delayed because a lorry had blocked the road, and then another lorry tried to get round it apparently, and they got stuck in the mud or something. So there's a double lorry situation. So they had to reroute the opening 20 kilometres.
Yeah, delayed the start by an hour, didn't they?
Half an hour, actually, which was incredibly quick, bearing in mind the logistics of actually rerouting a race. Like that, just to think that through is like mind-blowing. But then that wasn't the only problem of the day, because a police moto guy, bloke called Steve, actually, I met him this morning. He's fine.
Oh, good.
But he came off on a cattle grid, and it could have been a nasty injury, so they had to get an ambulance to him, and that halted the race. It was only a kilometre ahead of them. That halted the race for half an hour, and it was wet and cold, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was grim. There was a lot of bike riders trying to find their wet bags in the race car and get as in as possible. Yeah. Very happy to be retired that day, I was.
Have you had loads of things like that happen in your racing career, the horribly long neutralisations where you're just hanging around going, what?
Yeah, loads of times.
Happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the nature of the thing, isn't it? You know, as many emergency vehicles as possible. Anything could happen in the local area that you're racing through, which means that you then become second priority. Trains crossing, all that kind of stuff. Wildfires,
everything that gets thrown at bike racing. It's a mad sport, isn't it? The next day was, in my memory of this race, one of the best there's been, right? When they went up the Great Orme. I mean, that attack from Kim Lecourt-Pinard, we knew it was going to come, but she didn't hesitate, did she? And she was led out brilliantly to the foot of those hairpins. Yeah, she got into the foot of the climb first and took it on from the bottom. That's a brave, bold move. But she was the best positioned, but also had the best legs by a long way. Yeah. I was having this discussion in a WhatsApp exchange with her DS, Danny Christmas, after that victory. On the inside scoop. Oh, totally. Well, I gave them a bit of I gave them quite a detailed briefing about the Great Orme, I distributed that information out to... Oh, by the way, your little scoop with Primož Roglič going to Lotto, still confident about that? I was never confident. No. Anyway, so I was talking to Danny Christmas and about what I admire about Kim Lecourt after her victory. And I hesitate to say this to you because it's probably bad form to compare a female racer with male racers, but you're gonna do it. I'm going to do it anyway, if it's acceptable. I think there's elements of all my favourite bike riders in how she races. You know, she's got the kind of style and poise of a Remco. Mm-hmm. She looks great on the bike, I think. Yeah. She's got this kind of... Now she's got rid of that old jersey, the new jersey. Yeah, the new jersey's class, isn't it? Yeah, the old one just looked like the World Championship. It was just cheap trick, wasn't it? But she's also got this kind of targeted ability that Mathieu van der Poel has, like one day off, then go, I like that. Yeah. But then she's also got the sheer passion for it and the heart of Wout van Aert. You see where I'm going with this? I do, yeah. I think those three men will be delighted that they've all been compared to him. Boom. That's a very good reply. That's where she won the GC. It's good. You're good at this, Lizzie. Annoyingly good. No. I mean, you didn't have to call me a moron earlier. I don't know why you called me a moron. I was just about to go and buy you a cup of coffee. But yeah, I'm really sorry. I don't know what it was about either. It's the heat. And that was it. She won the general classification effectively on the Great Orme. Yeah, but she had to take it to the line, didn't she? She had to go from the bottom, actually. Yeah. And that was probably in their tactic because of the bonus seconds on the line. Was Wiebes going to probably win everything? They needed to really take as many seconds away from Wiebes as possible. So that tactic to go from the bottom paid off dramatically. Stage 4 into Hay-on-Wye, Wiebes came under pressure, and it was Kim Lecourt on the final climb. Kim Lecourt and Liana Lippert, who had a really good race, they really tried to get rid of Wiebes, but my word, she's climbing well, and she just remained in contact, and from that moment on, she's banking up stage win number 4, isn't she? So yeah, she really is impressive, Ned. I mean, we'll probably go on to the fact that she won the last stage as well. Let's go straight on to it, yeah. I mean, it's in the balance for a while, wasn't it, with those three riders who went up the road? Yeah, I was really impressed with the way they attacked the race, actually.
I was speaking to Alice Towers afterwards, and she was just saying, I wanted to do something. Why not? We needed to.
Yeah.
And she absolutely did. They used up all their riders chasing it back. But Bubas again was unstoppable. And I just want to say, like, she makes it look easy. And I think sometimes then we sort of take it for granted or undervalue it sometimes, but what she's doing is so impressive that she's going away, she's training hard, she's putting in the hours, the sacrifices, etc., just to win again and again and again.
Yeah.
As a former athlete myself, I find that particularly impressive, that she's not letting up. There's no grok and motivation.
Feels like she's accelerating, if anything. Like she's really hitting her stride now. And
unrivaled. And what used to push me in training was having a rival and thinking, oh, today they're going to be doing more than me. I don't know how what's she thinking on the morning when she gets up to train? I don't know.
She's probably having a dialogue with herself. I wonder what Lorena Vivas is doing today. Yeah, no, it's hugely impressive. Before we leave stage 5 alone, and you know, it was a wonderful spectacle actually. I had a really interesting fact about one of the riders in the breakaway today, Eva von Aert.
Okay.
Do you know her? As a rider? No?
As well as you do.
She is the granddaughter of Dries von Aert, who was the Dutch Prime Minister from 1977 to 1982.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that quite, except I find that very, very interesting indeed. So that's it from the Tour of Britain Women. This episode is brought to you by Thriver, the at-home blood testing service that gives you a clear picture of what's going on inside your body. It's a simple test you can do at home in about 10 minutes using the Auto Draw Kit. Your results are reviewed by a doctor and everything lands in the app with clear explanations of what it all means. As cyclists, we are obsessed with data, power, heart rate, sleep, recovery, but all of that tells you what's happening on the outside. Thriver gives you the inside body data too. So, Lizzie, a while ago, you gave a sample of your blood to Thriver, didn't you? Who ran a load of tests on it, and the test results came back, and we discussed those. Remind me again what the findings were.
It was basically that I was borderline deficient in vitamin B12 and iron, which didn't come as a surprise, but the confirmation of it made me take it a little bit more seriously, and made me take some supplements and try and combat the symptoms.
I mean, neither of us are doctors, but you are someone who pays a lot of attention to these things, I think, and you always have done. What the vitamin B? What was it?
Vitamin B12.
B12 and iron. What does that?
I mean, iron is something that I've always struggled to keep afloat, to keep up during my career.
Right.
It's something that a lot of women deal with, particularly professional athletes, and their postpartum as well.
Yeah.
Symptoms of iron deficiency are like brain fog.
I'm reserving judgment, Lizzie. Yeah.
Brain fog, fatigue, moodiness.
Time to time.
So I was displaying all the symptoms. The confirmation in the test meant that, as I said, I've been taking supplements, and I haven't done another test yet, so I don't know if they've taken effect, but I'm starting to feel a bit better. Good.
And that's the main thing, isn't it? And just remind everyone how the process happened with Thriver and how sort of relatively straightforward it is.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very used to having professional doctors look after me in a team where I didn't have to think about it. Actually accessing your own medical tests can be quite complicated.
Yeah, sure.
Finding a doctor or, doing it privately or whatever. So
Well, in this day and age, kind of doing anything with your GP is fraught with complications, isn't it? Unless you want to hang on at 8 o'clock in an endless phone queue and then book an appointment. So this, I guess, it kind of bypasses that to some extent.
It does, yeah. You can kind of take control of it yourself. The test comes through the post. It's really straightforward. You use this little machine to put a puncture on your arm. Sounds much worse than it was. I didn't even know that it had punctured. I was wondering, is the blood going to come out or not? That's how painless it was. It fills the vials. You package it back up. All very, very straightforward. In the post box, and I think within 2 days I got my results on my app, on my phone, a breakdown from a doctor discussing what I could do to improve, what I was deficient in, and things to look out for in the future. Yeah, and so that feels like it's something that you might sort of take forward and kind of like do semi-regularly, just to keep an eye on it, I'll definitely keep an eye on it. All right, fair enough. Learn something new every day. What was it? Vitamin B12 and iron. If you're the sort of person who likes knowing what's going on with your body, Thriver gives you that visibility. Use code LOVEOFCYCLING at checkout for 20% off.
Now it's time for you to get involved. Your chance to win a 3-month supply of Better Fuel from Science and Sport, the dual source revolution that changed cycling performance. Just post and share a photo of you and your bike on Instagram, tagging #Science and Sport and #ForTheLoveOfCycling, and telling us why you're inspired by the Vuelta. For the Love of Cycling is sponsored by Science and Sport, the fuel of choice for some of the leading riders in the Vuelta over the last 40 years.